Hello good people, I just arrived to Enermax. They're actually showing a few cool things, so let me guide you through those. But first, huge thanks to Cooler Master, Phanteks and Thermaltake for making our trip possible. Alright, let me show you what they got. Alright, so first let's start with the coolers. Enermax is changing the game for all-in-one coolers because I moved away from AIOs to air coolers because these things just don't deliver enough cooling capacity and are much louder. But Enermax is changing the game with Liqtech II because we have a now much larger pump. So these are almost like equivalent to what you would use on a custom water loop. So the pump itself is much stronger. It can deliver, look at this, 7 times stronger flow rate compared to our traditional all-in-one pumps. So 65 versus 450 liters an hour on these new EF1 pump systems. So this is the new one. It comes in 240, 280, and 360 millimeter radiators. There is a white version, which is awesome. And look at this, they're working on making sure that the white fan and the white radiator bracket is actually match in color. So when you install this, there is no color mismatch. I appreciate it. Now for the standard 360 TR4 one, they will have simple black fans. So the 240 radiator is now much thicker at 32 millimeters versus our traditional 27 on something like this. So that's pretty awesome. And check this out, they even have a little test setup to showcase what our traditional pump does in terms of how much liquid this thing can put out versus the new EF1 pump 2. So let's do the demo. All right, let's start. So the liquid start to flow. So here we have the new EF1 pump. Here's our traditional pump. I'm gonna step back a little bit so you guys can see what the difference would be. Look at that. This is much faster and we're almost done here. Boom, that is the power of the new pump. So it is really cool to have this visual to see what the difference is between the flow of like our standard pump versus the EF1, but also they're including this new central cold plate that has a central passage in the middle that makes your exchange of heat 30% more efficient. So in combination with this much better pump that is more powerful, thicker radiator for 240 radiator sizes, while the 360 are large enough, they don't need to be expanded to maintain that cooling capacity. I feel like these new Enermax Liqtech II all-in-one coolers are going to be quite popular. Okay, so I just realized this, but the entire Enermax booth is 2 fans connected with something right there. There's another one. And in the middle, look at this, the power supply. How cool. All right, obviously there is an RGB power supply. It was only a matter of time. This one's called the Revolution RGB. It is fully modular, and I do like how these cables have that nice pattern on them. It's not just simple black. So it's a semi-fanless design, which means the fan will stop spinning when the power supply is below 30%. So if you're under that threshold, you got a totally silent system. We got RGB on both sides, and they are rotated to accommodate for the orientation. So if the fan is facing up, we can see that RGB there, plus the Revolution RGB text here. But if you were to rotate the power supply like this, you can see the text accommodates that. This thing can be connected to your motherboard because it has addressable RGB, so you can have that full sync with your motherboard. Or there's a button. You can simply change the lighting this way if you don't want to go through the software. I actually quite like this approach, and I'm guessing that is the future of power supplies. It was only a matter of time. And now onto cases, something that we haven't really covered on the show here. I'm kidding. We have the new Saber in white. So we've covered this one at CES. It's actually pretty cool because you can remove the front glass plate and replace it with the mesh, which is at the top. So these 2 plates are interchangeable, and they do include an additional mesh piece in the box, so you can have mesh on top and the front. This one is the original black one. It comes with 3 RGB fans at the front, but the white one has new addressable RGB fans, and both of them will come with 3 at the front. This is $180, this is $160, so the $20 difference for the white model seems appropriate. But so the new things here are the addressable RGB LED strips on top and the front. Now for the interior, aside from having radiator support up top and the front, we do have that side radiator installation too, for either exhausting the fans or radiator if you do a 280 for for your cooler. Also the side panel does accommodate that exhaust, which is awesome. The interior seems to be pretty safe. Nice long power supply shroud, cutouts for the GPU cables. Nice little cutout for the front if you do go with the radiator. And the little hard drive cage does not stick out, so you don't have to remove it if you go in with the radiator at the front. So their RGB implementation is actually pretty good. All the controls are at the front, so you can not only change the color and the effect, but you can also have 3 brightness levels, which is awesome because these things go incredibly bright, like blindingly bright. Check this out. Oh, right there. Yeah, there we go. Imagine this in a really dark environment. Yeah, so that's awesome. All the controls at the front, and the AIO includes 4 USB ports. Nice. So they did tell us that they will focus on making sure the white is uniform and also matches other white components that are coming out, and potentially includes some form of perimeter on the glass so that it actually does not reveal the frame behind it. All right, guys, so that's it from Enermax. Let me know what you think of those cases, and would you like us to review one? The RGB power supply, of course, was inevitable, but I'm happy with the implementation, and their new AIO cooler with that stronger pump will deliver better temperatures across the board. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.